Do you remember the quiet man who taught a generation the meaning of patience, resilience, and honor? Pat Morita carried the weight of a lifetime behind his calm eyes, a lifetime full of struggle that the cameras never captured. Before he passed, he finally spoke out about the challenges, doubts, and battles that unfolded while bringing Mr. Miyagi to life. Every moment on set hid a story, a tension, and a triumph that shaped not only a character, but the man himself. Tonight, we uncover the truth that Pat carried silently for decades. A childhood of struggle and survival. Long before he became the beloved Mr. Miyagi, Pat Morita faced challenges that would have broken most children. Born Noriyuki Marita, he was diagnosed with a rare form of tuberculosis as a young boy, a disease so severe that doctors warned he might never walk. For nearly a decade, he was confined to a full-body cast, immobilized from neck to thigh, staring at ceilings and walls as days blurred into months and months into years. It was in this isolation, in the quiet hours of forced stillness, that he discovered humor, not as a performance, but as a lifeline. He crafted jokes, imagined characters, and found a way to escape the physical limitations of his body through laughter and imagination. "If it wasn't for my disease," he later said, "I wouldn't be here today." Yet survival did not end with the walls of the hospital. In 1943, when Marita was finally released, his life took another harsh turn. As a young Japanese-American child, he and his family were forcibly relocated by the U.S. government to internment camps in Arizona and later California. He was too young to understand why they were taken, but the memories of uniformed agents and barbed wire would remain with him for life. His anger and confusion grew with age as he came to understand the injustice his family endured during World War II. After the war, his family tried to rebuild a sense of normalcy, opening a restaurant in Sacramento. But tragedy struck again when Marita's father passed away in 1956, leaving the young man with the responsibility of supporting his family. Office jobs and routine work filled his days, but the spark of his early humor never dimmed. It was this resilience, this ability to transform hardship into laughter, that would eventually guide him toward the stage, the camera, and the character the world would come to know as Mr. Miyagi. The lessons of survival, discipline, and the delicate balance between pain and humor were etched into his being long before he ever picked up a karate brush or stepped onto a film set. From comedy clubs to television screens. After the weight of childhood illness and the hardships of internment camps, Pat Morita stepped into adulthood carrying both resilience and a keen sense of humor. The tragedies he endured never erased his laughter. Instead, they sharpened it, giving him a perspective that would define his artistry. In the early 1960s, he began performing as a stand-up comedian, using the stage as both a release and a proving ground. His comedy was self-deprecating, quick-witted, and deeply human, turning personal struggle into stories that connected with audiences. This was where he honed the timing and subtlety that would later become crucial in creating the gentle, measured humor of Mr. Miyagi. Marita's transition from stage to screen began with small roles in television and film, many of which reflected the stereotypes and limitations placed on Asian American actors at the time. One of his earliest film roles was as Oriental Number 2 in Thoroughly Modern Millie, a credit emblematic of Hollywood's narrow vision for actors like him. Despite these constraints, Marita's natural charm and disciplined craft allowed him to secure recurring television roles, including Ah Chu on Sanford and Son and the memorable Arnold Takahashi on Happy Days. These appearances brought him increasing recognition, but he remained aware of the barriers still in place, both in industry perception and in the type of characters available to him. A critical moment came with Mr. T and Tina, one of the first sitcoms featuring a predominantly Asian American cast, where Morita starred as Taro Takahashi. Though the series lasted only a few episodes, it marked a historic step forward in television representation, and demonstrated Morita's ability to carry a show as a lead actor. Each appearance built his reputation, showcasing his versatility, warmth, and timing, qualities that would later convince even the most skeptical Hollywood executives that he could embody a complex and emotionally resonant character like Mr. Miyagi. Through every setback, every minor role, and every stereotyped part, Morita's determination and talent steadily laid the foundation for the defining performance of his life. The Long Road to Mr. Miyagi. By the early 1980s, Pat Morita's career had reached a crossroads. He had appeared in numerous television shows and small film roles, yet the opportunity to secure a defining role remained elusive. Then came The Karate Kid, a project that would ultimately change everything, but only after one of the most grueling casting journeys of his life. Producer Jerry Weintraub, tasked with bringing the story to life, was adamant. A comedian could not carry the heavyweight role of Mr. Miyagi. Morita's name surfaced in discussions, but Weintraub dismissed him outright, insisting that someone with gravitas and a serious presence was required. Every time Morita was mentioned, the answer remained the same. He was a comic, and the part was too nuanced for a performer with his background. It was director John Avildsen who refused to let the opportunity pass by. Believing that Morita possessed the subtlety, timing, and humanity needed for Miyagi, Avildsen arranged a private reading with him, recording the session in secret. Afterward, he casually offered Morita his script, hinting that perhaps this was more than a simple audition. When the tape later surfaced in a pre-production meeting, Weintraub was stunned by Morita's performance, but still not fully convinced. Morita recalls that he was summoned back for a total of 5 separate auditions. Each session increased the pressure. The first 2 tested his ability to recreate the intensity and vulnerability he displayed in the initial reading, while the third introduced Ralph Macchio to evaluate their on-screen chemistry. The fourth included costumes, transforming Morita from the comedian audiences remembered into the weathered, wise figure of Miyagi. Finally, the fifth and most exacting test placed them on a cold, empty stage, stripped of sets and props, yet still filmed for real. Through each repetition, Morita brought patience, subtle humor, and emotional authenticity, gradually eroding the skepticism surrounding him. By the end, even Weintraub recognized the depth Morita brought to the character. One phone call would finally seal his fate. "Pat, I almost made the worst mistake of my life. I just want to be the first to congratulate you. You got the part of Miyagi." It was a triumph born of persistence, of an unwavering belief in talent over typecasting. This grueling audition process not only secured the role, but defined Morita's legacy, proving that the quiet strength he carried through childhood illness and personal struggle could translate into an unforgettable performance that resonated worldwide. Crafting Miyagi's voice and building bonds, securing the role of Mr. Miyagi was only the beginning. Pat Morita understood that the character's power would lie not only in physical gestures or iconic moves, but in the way Miyagi spoke and connected with Daniel LaRusso. Morita realized that if Miyagi's broken English veered too far toward caricature, the character could become a stereotype, stripped of dignity and depth. Yet, if it was too polished, it would betray the story of an immigrant janitor and war veteran who had lived a life marked by hardship and quiet wisdom. Ironically, the solution emerged from fatigue. During early rehearsals and audition tests, Morita's energy ran low, causing his lines to slow into clipped, halting phrases. This natural rhythm became the foundation of Miyagi's voice, a voice that carried both weight and subtle humor, a cadence that compelled audiences to lean in and listen. Morita later explained with a wry smile, "That's why Miyagi talked like this, because he run out of energy." The chemistry with Ralph Macchio was equally crucial. Morita took on the role not merely as a mentor on screen, but as a guiding figure off-screen as well. Their rehearsals, from the wax-on, wax-off exercises to emotional confessions, were moments of shared trust and learning. Makio recalls how Morita's presence could calm nerves and shape performances naturally, creating a mentor-student dynamic that transcended scripted dialogue. These interactions weren't rehearsed tricks. They were genuine exchanges that built the foundation for an authentic and enduring bond. Behind the scenes, Morita also developed small rituals that reinforced Miyagi's character. Improvised advice in broken English to crew members, quiet moments of reflection, and attention to detail in minor gestures all contributed to a living, breathing mentor that the cast and crew respected. Even light-hearted scenes like catching flies with chopsticks were transformed under Morita's guidance into lessons of focus and patience, blending humor with authenticity. These small, unscripted touches ensured that every interaction carried a sense of realness, making Miyagi's wisdom feel earned rather than performed. Morita's approach demonstrated a rare understanding of subtlety, blending humor, vulnerability, and discipline. By the time filming concluded, he was no longer simply an actor playing a role. He had become Miyagi in the eyes of the cast, crew, and eventually, millions of fans worldwide. Trials on set and moments that lasted. While the world remembers the crane kick, the wax-on, wax-off lessons, and Miyagi's serene wisdom, Pat Morita carried quieter, more personal memories from the set. Moments that defined both his bond with the cast and his own journey as an artist. One of the most demanding scenes was the drunk Miyagi sequence. The studio debated whether audiences would accept seeing the wise mentor vulnerable, broken by the memory of losing his wife and child in the internment camps. Morita fought to keep the scene authentic, pouring his own emotional weight into every faltering movement, every halting line. When the cameras stopped, the room fell silent. No applause, no chatter. Only respect for the honesty and depth he brought to the role. Even smaller, less scripted moments became meaningful. The seemingly lighthearted exercise of catching a fly with chopsticks could have been played as simple comedy, yet Morita transformed it into a lesson in concentration and patience. The way he guided Daniel's hand, his eyes fixed on the impossible task, made the scene resonate with authenticity. These moments, often unnoticed by the audience, reflected Morita's understanding that true mentorship was about subtle guidance, patience, and connection. His relationship with Ralph Macchio extended beyond the screen. Morita became a protective, guiding presence, teaching life lessons with quiet humor and gentle authority. Their interactions, from rehearsals to breaks between scenes, mirrored the teacher-student dynamic of Miyagi and Daniel. Macchio later described this bond as the heart of the movie on screen and off, a testament to Morita's ability to inhabit the character fully while shaping the people around him. The crew, initially skeptical of a comedian carrying such a role, gradually came to respect Morita's dedication. Through repetition, improvisation, and attention to nuanced gestures, he turned Miyagi into a living presence, not just a scripted character. These small rituals, these moments of patient guidance and humor, became the threads that wove together the soul of the film. For Morita, the significance of The Karate Kid was never just in its box office success. It was in the friendships, the trust, and the subtle human truths captured quietly behind the camera. Legacy, later roles, and personal struggles. After the triumph of The Karate Kid and his Oscar nomination, Pat Morita's career entered a new chapter, one filled with both opportunity and ongoing challenges. While Mr. Miyagi remained the role that defined him, Morita continued to appear in guest spots on television shows such as The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Murder, She Wrote, and Family Matters, often bringing the same depth, humor, and dignity he had perfected as Miyagi. He also explored voice acting, most notably as the Emperor in Disney's Mulan, reprising the role in sequels and video games like Kingdom Hearts 2, and even guesting posthumously on SpongeBob SquarePants as Master Udon. In the late 1990s, he participated in children's shows like The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo and Adventures with Kangaroo, demonstrating his versatility and enduring appeal across generations. Yet behind this professional success, Morita faced personal struggles, including a lifelong battle with alcoholism. His wife, Evelyn, and daughter, Allie, have spoken openly about his addiction, recognizing both its grip on him and the warmth, kindness, and humor that defined him despite it. Morita himself was aware of the challenge, acknowledging that it was a part of his life he could not fully overcome. These struggles, coupled with occasional feelings of being a washed-up movie star after the peak of his Karate Kid fame, humanized the icon who had inspired so many. Morita passed away in 2005 at the age of 73 from kidney failure, yet his impact on film, television, and popular culture endures. Mr. Miyagi's lessons, discipline, patience, and quiet strength continued to influence new generations, and his legacy is prominently referenced in the Netflix series Cobra Kai, which honors his character with moments like Daniel visiting Miyagi's grave. Ralph Macchio emphasized that he's woven throughout our show, a testament to how deeply Morita's portrayal shaped not only the narrative, but also the hearts of viewers and co-stars alike. In the end, Pat Morita earned a little place in history, as his family put it, a place marked by artistry, resilience, and a rare ability to transform personal hardship into performances that touched the world. While the man behind the beard, the halting voice, and the gentle humor is gone, his lessons and presence remain immortal, quietly teaching patience, integrity, and courage to anyone willing to listen. Which Mr. Miyagi moment touched you the most? The crane kick, the wax-on lesson, or one of the quieter, heartfelt scenes? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories from behind the camera.